It is 11:59 and 59 seconds. This happened in America today. For months, voters across this great land of ours, and also Michigan, have been tasked with the incredible responsibility of choosing our next president. And boy, have they been blowing it. But a field that started with 21 presidential candidates and one precocious schoolboy who snuck into the debates wearing his big brother's jacket, adorable, has been narrowed down to 5. Tonight, we welcome 2 of them to our stage for a very special extended hour-long presidential debate here on At Midnight. Very important. Now, we're hosting them not only because they are polar political opposites, but they both seem to have a ring of authenticity to their supporters that bucks the traditional political system. They're both very active on social media, one as a socialist, the other as a sociopath. And they're here to desperately pander for your votes on the first ever At Midnight presidential debate. Thank you, yes, of course. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our first candidate, Donald J. Trump. Mr. Trump. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. Please take your position at the lectern.
Get him out of here. Get him out of here. Get him out of here.
Mr. Trump, we're not going to eject anyone from the audience just for booing you.
Waterboard them, then.
We're not going to waterboard anyone.
Kill their
families.
Kill their families.
That's your solution for everything, sir. That's your solution for everything. And also, your opponent tonight, Senator Bernie Sanders.
Thank you.
All right, excellent. Gentlemen, welcome. Thank you very much for being here, giving us your time here on At Midnight. You had a lot of choices, and you came here, and we appreciate it. You're right, Senator Sanders.
I don't think this guy's gonna make it to the election. I mean, are you kidding me? Unbelievable.
All right, Don, save it for the issues.
All right, it is now time to start with our candidates in place. The first ever At Midnight presidential debate. Here we go. Welcome to At Midnight. I'm Chris Hardwick, and I'm wearing a very expensive tie. Our guests tonight are the stars of Trump versus Bernie, the debate, premiering April 27th at 9 p.m. on Fusion. But make no mistake, this is definitely Trump and Sanders.
Thank you.
Probably.
Thank you. Thank you.
Before we begin, I'd like to remind the crowd to please be respectful. Don't shout anything out like, lick me granddaddy, or eat you racist orange stain. These are presidential candidates. They're not boys for your amusement, and I would like you to please keep that in mind. This is very serious and very important, perhaps the most important thing you'll see on any television network. Now we're going to offer them each 30 seconds for opening statements. Senator Sanders, we'll begin with you.
Thank you, Chris. My brothers and sisters, we are winning hearts, we are winning minds, and from time to time, we are winning states. Idaho, Utah, Arizona, I thank you. 2.5 of those, I thank. We are very pleased that as of today, it's just been announced we won the endorsement of a very important group, the Soy and Tofu Packers Union. I thank them for their endorsement. We've got some tremendous supporters. I am backed and endorsed by 1/2 of Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young, which is also 2/3 of Crosby, Stills, and Nash. And look, we are winning amongst some key demographics, and I think it's important to keep in mind. Amongst voters who shop at Whole Foods and yet feel guilty about shopping at Whole Foods, we are winning 92% of the vote.
All right.
Amongst voters from households where the primary mode of transportation is a bicycle, we are winning 88% of the vote.
All right, thank you, Senator Sanders. I'm sorry, Senator
And
Sanders.
if I might, Chris,
well, I know, but
with voters under the age of 21, we are winning 120% of the vote. We are winning, and we will continue to win because the top 1% control.
All right, thank you, Senator Sanders.
Excuse me.
I would like to
talk. Don't worry about it.
I would like to remind everyone to try to stick to time. Senator Sanders went about an hour and a half beyond the 30 seconds we had.
You'll have to forgive me. I haven't been on TV this much all year.
All right. Mr. Trump.
Well, thank you very much, Chip. Let me tell you.
Okay.
This country, we're losing. We're losing. We don't win anymore. And we're going to start winning. I'll tell you, first off, I have the same policy on women as I do the Chinese, which is that China is our enemy. And I'll tell you this, China is our enemy. I'll tell you that. We started out with 17 people on the island, and Scott Walker, Uncanny Valley, android face, got knocked up. And I have received a rose in every single ceremony since then. We got to go through it. Unbelievable. I mean, Iowa, I'm going to test hydrogen bombs in Iowa. I can tell you that. I came in second. I dug a hole in Iowa. On the way out, and I sexually assaulted the state. I can tell you that. But here's the point. Very important. I mean, Jeb Bush, very low energy guy. He was the Terry Schiavo of presidential candidates. I can tell you that. Those eyes clicking back and forth. Someone put a needle in his neck. And, and here's the thing. I love Chris Christie. Great guy. I love Chris Christie. But he is a big guy. I threw a paperclip at him during one of the debates, and it went into orbit, and I promise you, if I become president, we will name it a moon in our solar system. I guarantee you that.
Please wrap it up, Mr. Trump.
And I'll tell you this. Carly Fiorina will be the new White House horse. I'll tell you that.
Thank you, Mr. Trump. All right, that's all the time we have for intros.
I think there is some contrast between the candidates you see on stage. This might not be the debate you get, but this is the debate you deserve.
All right, thank you very much, Senator Sanders. All right, gentlemen, very thought-provoking discourses, but we have to take a quick break. We'll be right back, continuing our At Midnight debate with Donald Trump and Senator Bernie Sanders when we return. Welcome back to the At Midnight presidential debate. I'm the host of everything, Chris Hardwick. Ripped from today's internet headlines, it's Rapid Refresh. We're going to be talking about a wide variety of issues today, gentlemen. A lot of internet issues, if you seem to be familiar with that. Let's begin. Voters, you've heard these two comments.
I do have a modem. Yes, thank you. Continue.
Okay, good.
I have a Mexican guy who reads the internet to me. Wonderful guy.
Thank you.
Wonderful guy. Hello, Paco.
Voters, every crazy thing he says just makes him more popular. It's unbelievable.
I'm a demon.
Thank you.
I'm a demon on earth.
Now, you've heard these two comments on a wide variety of political topics on other news programs and on debates, but we're about to show you the internet, and we want to discuss these topics that affect internet Americans. Our first topic is environmental activism. Environmental activism. The state of the environment is a very real concern to everyday Americans, which is why millions of web users were glued to their laptops this week following the story of a crazy dude in a tree. Here we go. This is a bearded man who's in Seattle. He climbed the majestic conifer Tuesday, refused to come down, throwing apples and pine cones at officials, and generally being the most Seattle person ever. Perhaps most disturbingly, the tree never actually gave consent. Senator Sanders, the tree man came down earlier this afternoon, but how do you respond to this growing trend of tree dwellers?
Sure, I thank you for that question. Let me say this, and when I say that, what I mean is I'm going to say something. As the only candidate running for president who has himself lived in a tree, I believe I have some clarity on this issue, and I think what we see is a vision of the future. I support tree dwellers, and I believe it's a fantastic way to solve the housing crisis by having people climb up trees rather than cut them down.
Thank you, Senator Sanders. Mr. Trump. Mr. Trump, I'll throw the question to you. How do you respond?
I will tell you, I've had a number of my friends murdered by trees. Sonny Bono, terrible. Edward Kennedy, okay? The guy from whatever that Taken movie is, Liam Neeson, his wife, all murdered by trees. Terrible, terrible. Trees are terrible, and I promise you this, if I become president, we will get rid of every tree. We will turn every forest into glass. I guarantee you that.
All right.
We got to use these nukes. We haven't used them in years.
All right. Points to Mr. Trump, also points to Senator Sanders. Next topic, the Judicial Branch. With the debate raging over filling the upcoming Supreme Court vacancy, Sarah Palin is getting her own Judge Judy-style courtroom show. This is not a sketch. This is a real thing happening in your real world. Now, some critics have pointed out that Sarah Palin doesn't even have a law degree, but on the other hand, not being qualified to do something has never stopped Sarah Palin from doing anything. So some legal experts are concerned about how she's going to pass sentence on others when she can't even get past a sentence herself. Take a listen.
We believe... Wait, I thought fast food joints? Don't you guys think that they're like of the devil or something? That's what... Liberals, you want to send those evil employees who would dare work at a fast food joint that you just don't believe in. Thought you wanted to, I don't know, send them to purgatory or something.
And it just goes on and on. Since the frighteningly unqualified Sarah Palin will now be judging in a court of law, please suggest a case Judge Palin might preside over. Senator Sanders, let's start with you.
Okay, fair. Look, I have a class action lawsuit. It is called Sanders versus Vlasic Pickles. I am suing them. I'm tired of trying to take the lid off and having to run it under hot water. And I think that Big Pickle should be broken up into its constituent spheres. But I will add, I did not vote to confirm Judge Judy, and I will not vote to confirm Judge Sarah Palin. If it comes
All right,
back.
thank you. Points, Senator Sanders. Mr. Trump.
Sarah is a beautiful woman. Very, very beautiful woman. Wonderful female, great skin, incredible skin. I'll tell you this, right? I wouldn't even be paying attention to this, okay? I'm sorry, Kyle. I will not pay attention to it. I don't care. I don't care what she says. I'm just looking at her and thinking about me sliding somewhere. I'll tell you that. And here's the most, I'll tell you, like a sloop. I mean, it's like the Olympics. And I'll say this, I put the mute on because she does. She makes no sense. It's gobbledygook. I will have her mouth sewn shut if I become president.
All right, thank you. I guess audience seem to support that. I will give you points on behalf of the audience. The candidates throughout the debate, we're going to be asking you questions submitted from people online. Our first one covers the important topic of religion. Always a topic people are comfortable speaking reasonably about. Twitter user @WayneA. asked, which of you is more like Jesus? Trump, let's start with you.
I love the Bible. I've read the whole book. I love the Bible. Great book, incredible book. I love Corinthians. I love both of them. I think they're incredible. I love their leather. And I'll say this, I really do, I love it. And I'll say the Book of Job, incredible book. Incredible book. It's Jobs is in the Bible. Jobs is in the Bible. If our president wasn't reading the Quran, maybe he'd know that. But here's the point, very important. Very important. Jesus, most boring part of the book. Are you kidding me? He's a very boring guy. They should have chopped him up into pieces. They should have chopped him up. Why did they crucify him? He came back like Voltron. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I would be a way better Jesus. Way better Jesus. Way better Jesus.
All right. I will, based on the audience reaction, points to Mr. Trump on that. Senator Sanders?
Look, I'm not like Jesus at all. There's nothing in common. I'm far older than Jesus ever was. I don't know, maybe he would have run for, Emperor Rome or something if he'd lived as long as I did. But let me say this. I am not particularly religious. However, I do have a Holy Spirit-like effect on Vermonters and Vermont-like people. Wherever two or more Birkenstocks are gathered, I am in their midst.
All right, points now to Senator Sanders. Sorry to interrupt. I hate to fudge the American people in the buns like this, but we need to go to a quick commercial break to pay off this flag that we spent all of our budget on. We'll continue our at-midnight debate between Donald Trump and Bernie Sanders when we return. Thank you for joining us. Welcome back to the at-midnight presidential debate. I'm Chris Hardwick. Our next issue, agriculture, very important to the United States. Candidates, both of you have very strong roots in the world of farming. Senator Sanders, you've lived near farms both in Vermont and before cities were invented. Donald, You've been raising an animal on your scalp for several decades, which I believe technically counts as the livestock industry, proving just how important agriculture is to the American people. This image from Ruthless Relic was at the top of Reddit. It shows a chicken crossing a road right there. Now, judging by this chicken's blatant disregard for others, and also his coloring, I'm guessing a Trump supporter. Candidates, why did this chicken cross the road? Why did the chicken cross the road? Let's start with you, Mr. Trump.
Well, I want to say something very important, okay, Chuck? And I want to tell you this, very important, very, very important. I've been to this intersection. This is right on the border, okay? And I am telling you, that's an immigrant chicken. I'm telling you right now. And there are many Mexican chickens. I've been to Mexico. I've seen the chickens. We've got to find out if this is a rapist chicken or a murderer chicken. And I promise you this, we are going to build an incredible coop along the southern border. I guarantee you that. I guarantee you.
All right, points. Senator Sanders.
Look, Chris, I think it's important to understand that I was made aware of this story and I immediately went down to have a listening tour and I sat down with the chickens. And I heard their concerns and I talked to relatives, family members of this particular chicken, and it turns out he crossed the road to draw attention to the crumbling infrastructure the chickens have to face every day of their lives. A middle-class chicken is not able to raise the same number of eggs that they were 40 years ago. Their coops are in disrepair, and if I am president, I promise that I will spend billions of dollars on chicken wire. They deserve better, just like human beings.
All right, thank you, Senator Sanders. Points for that.
Unbelievable.
We have another, Mr. Trump, you're saying unbelievable?
Unbelievable, just unbelievable. We should wipe them all out and use their eggs just like women.
Okay, all right. No. We have another question from the internet now. At Rennie Rivas asks, what would your position be within a human centipede? Let's start with you this time, Senator Sanders.
That's a fair question, Chris. I believe that for sure I would not be in the top 1% of the human centipede with the bankers and the people who are up there in charge of everything. I would be in the bottom 80% along with everybody else, but I would fight to strengthen the middle class within the human centipede.
All right. Thank you, Senator Sanders. I'm not 100% sure that a person at the front of a human centipede has any more power than anyone in the human centipede, but...
Well, look, I disagree with those numbers. Look, if you want to fact-check that, Chris, I could show you some numbers. I've read the documents. I read for 2 weeks all the printouts and documents and reports I could find on human centipede. It's tragic what they go through, but I think the disappearing middle class, the thorax of the centipede, needs to be enhanced so that these creatures are able to have a healthy life.
Excuse me.
All right, yes.
Excuse me.
Mr. Trump, your rebuttal.
Excuse me.
Point, Senator Sanders.
First off, I would do a human millipede because it's way bigger, more legs, far more luxurious. I'll tell you that. Absolutely. A human millipede would be so much bigger. I'll say that. I only do millipedes, I'll tell you. But my position in a human centipede would be in the corner jerking off watching those people. I don't do that.
All right.
I don't do that.
Points for your honesty.
I do not jerk off, and this is a very important distinction between me and Mr. Trump. I do not jerk off. I don't need to. I do things, with no hands. Hands-free. That's the way I handle it.
I have ejaculated 3 times during this debate.
And if I might...
Yes, Senator Sanders.
If I might, I have not ejaculated since Jesse Jackson won the 1988 Georgia primary, and I saved that ejaculate in jars for future use.
Thank you, Senator Sanders. Mr. Trump, I'm envisioning all of that now. I'm envisioning a pumpkin spice latte coming out of you and...
That's right.
And clouds of evaporated milk shooting into the ether.
And I'll tell you, that pumpkin spice latte is a double shot, I can tell you that.
Thank you,
It's
Mr.
definitely
Trump.
a double shot.
Thank you very much, Mr. Trump, for activating my gag reflex.
It's actually rice milk.
Gentlemen, we have to pause this illuminating discussion to shove our minds back into our skulls. We'll continue our debate with Senator Bernie Sanders and Donald Trump when we come back. Welcome back to the At Midnight Presidential Debate. I'm less wealthy Ryan Seacrest. If you're just joining us, we're forcing Senator Bernie Sanders and Donald Trump to compete for points on a fake internet game show. Let's continue. Next up, tech innovations. Tech innovations. A very key part of our economy, of course, is the tech sector. There are some exciting new innovations from one of the industry's leaders, Pornhub, of course. Senator Sanders, now this is a website that young people visit to see.
Oh, I understand. Yeah, sure, it's a
All right,
www.
good.
What do you want?
Well, nothing. I wasn't sure if you were familiar with the Pornhub. It's to put it in context, type of nudity that you might recognize from, like those saucy playing cards your buddy brought back from the war.
Yeah, sure, I understand it. A Nickelodeon picture. What do I
Yeah,
need
it's
to
like
know?
a Nickelodeon picture. Mr. Trump, you know Pornhub is a place for many of your future ex-wives. They made...
Very low blow.
No,
low blow.
I'm
Very
not-
low blow. All right,
Do you mean your category?
I watch home movies of my daughter.
All right,
tell you
okay, all
that.
right. Well...
Keep it in the family.
All right. They made waves this week by announcing plans to give away free VR goggles for their new channels featuring virtual reality films. Let's take a look at the film.
Whoa. 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 It's VR porn, Dad. With your very own headset. It's like you're really there.
So this brings up a very interesting question. Porn for the elderly. What does it look like, Senator Sanders? What would you like to see in a blue movie for the AARP set?
First of all, I want to point out that is exactly why you wear boxes and briefs.
All right.
Look, I think I would largely leave pornographic policy to the states to decide. I will say this, however, I believe that special interests have no place in our money shots, and I would move to have corporations have their influence taken out of pornographic pictures. And also, Chris, on a personal level, I wouldn't mind seeing some virtual reality porn where they are able to recreate Betty Boop so I can once again fantasize about performing cunnilingus on my favorite pinup model, Betty Boop.
All right, thank you, Senator Sanders. Just as a quick little point, Betty Boop is an animated character, not a real human being.
Oh, sure, no, I had a fun time when I was young.
All right, good. Mr. Trump, to you, what makes it a good adult film?
I personally enjoy Japanese crying films. I like those girls crying. I like them crying. And I'll tell you, China is ahead of us on robot octopus tentacles. They are. They're ahead of us, and we ship 38% on robot tentacles going into women. China does it all. America does not corner the market. And I'll say this, if I become president, every young woman in the United States will have a large octopus tentacle inside them. I'll guarantee it. I promise you that. I love seeing them cry because it reminds me of how they lost the war.
All right. I feel very bad about giving points for that, but the audience seems to decree it. One more question from American Twitter user @HGreen568 asks, why don't ghosts just fall through the earth? Senator Sanders.
There was a time in this country where we took care of our ghosts. And the reason that ghosts did not fall through the earth was because there was a social welfare safety net to keep them from falling, and that has eroded since Reagan was president, and I promise, as president, I will give the ghosts a fair shot, just like I will human beings, because ghosts are just very elderly people.
Excuse me. Excuse me.
Mr. Trump, you're
Excuse me. Excuse me. I do want to say one thing. I promise you this. If I become president, I am going to make a lot more ghosts. I guarantee you that.
All right.
I will make a lot more ghosts. There's going to be so many ghosts.
Now, a lot of people, there seems to be a growing trend. A lot of people are very upset. Most ghosts, as depicted in film and television, always tend to be white. Senator Sanders, would you like to comment on that?
Sure. Look, I understand that I am what is known as a white male, and I'm on Tumblr, so I know that's wrong. I have educated myself through a number of enlightening reblogs, and let me say this. In my administration, I think the ghosts will be diverse, just like my cabinet, like everybody around me, and the ghosts in a Sanders administration will be multicolored, like the ghosts in a Pac-Man game.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Senator Sanders. Mr. Trump, we just have a little bit of time left in this part of the debate. Any comment on ghost diversity?
First off, I'll say something very, very important about ghosts, okay? They wear white sheets. They wear white sheets. We don't know what's underneath them. We don't know what's underneath them, much like a great company that supports me, an incredible energy company that supports me called Triple K. Incredible energy company. There's this British guy. He's a duke. His name is David, and he tells me about this incredible new alternate energy called white power. Unbelievable. And apparently, white power has been running this country for 350 years. I had no idea.
All right. I think I'm
I wasn't trying to get your attention, Chris. I just always hear music, and sometimes I like to play along.
All right, excellent. That brings us to the end of Rapid Refresh. No points for Mr. Trump's answer. That brings us to the end of Rapid Refresh Presidential Debate Edition. We're going to decide once and for all who will end up in the White House by the end of this show. We're going to be holding a special presidential hashtag war later on. We're going to continue our At Midnight debate with Donald Trump and Senator Bernie Sanders when we return. Our tweet of the day from last night's hashtag war was presented by Burger King and from @MyLittleGaroni. Well done. Debate, the only presidential debate that is relevant to your interests and will determine, that will determine once and for all who will end up in the White House. Let's jump right in with another question from the internet. Blaze Ace of Aces 8 asks, who is the better kisser? Who is the better kisser? Senator Sanders, let's start with you.
Well, look, it's hard for me to tell for sure because I can guarantee I'm never kissing Donald Trump. But I do, look, I make my wife very happy. We have nice romantic times up at Lake Champlain where we go out on a boat and we read each other's statistics from the Bureau of Labor Statistics.
All right, thank you. Points to Senator Sanders. Mr. Trump.
When I was 13 years old, I went in to have my first kiss with a lovely, beautiful girl who I had purchased from Dubai. My father bought her for me. And she shamed me, and my mouth has been perpetually stuck in a kiss since then.
Let's see. Senator Sanders.
What do you need?
Follow-up question. How do you feel about Muppet rights?
Look, Chris, that's a fair question. I understand that I look like I'm running for president of the Muppet Show. But let me say this, I believe that we owe it to young Muppets, Fraggles, to make sure that they are able to go to college for free. And I also believe that older Muppets, Statler and Waldorf, should be able to see a doctor to look at their Muppet holes when they need it.
All right, thank you. Senator Sanders.
Excuse me.
Mr. Trump, you have a rebuttal?
Excuse me. First off, I have worked with doozers my entire life. Doozers are incredible builders. They used to work on Fraggle, and they built incredible buildings for me. And the Fraggles eat them. The Fraggles eat them. Let's not forget that.
That's true.
And I'll say this. I mean, this Sesame Street, unbelievable. I mean, Cookie Monster. This guy is so addicted to cookies. I heard he sucks felt in the alley behind Sesame Street. I did. I heard it.
Interesting.
I heard he sucks felt.
I mean, that's hearsay. You don't know that for a fact. You're just...
I don't know anything, but I say things and then hope people, and then I hope people commit acts of violence as a result.
Donald, I think that gay panic and shaming of sex workers has no place on Sesame Street or on Main Street.
Let me tell you.
I'm not...
Hold on. Excuse me.
Yes.
Excuse me. Okay, Kim, listen to me. I'm gonna tell you right now.
It's not even a man's name.
I'll tell you this. I'll say this right now. I don't have a problem with gay issues. Bernie and I line up on this, okay? It doesn't mean we're gonna run a train on each other, but we do line up. And I will say this. I support lesbians picking up wood in Vermont. I think it's fine. Whatever you want to do is your
My
business.
state was mentioned. I believe I get a response. Mr. Trump, I will have you know that lesbians picking up wood in Vermont is our #2 industry.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Hold on. Excuse me. I have no problem with that. I love the lesbian wood industry. China is sending Chinese lesbians to pick up wood for half the price. And China, how many Chinese lesbians are we going to have come over here and pick up wood? I want American lesbians to be picking up wood.
All right.
I want American lesbians to pick up wood. I don't need these Chinese lesbians.
America, the choice is clear. The choice is yours. You can elect the monopoly man with the bag of money for a head, or you can elect me, the boot from Monopoly, and I will modify the game so that nobody goes to jail. You just keep passing go and collecting $200.
Get out of here.
Okay.
That is, I'm sorry. It's now time for our live challenge, Attack of the Ad. Attack of the Ad. Now, candidates, let's pivot to an important part of the American political tradition. I'm talking, of course, attack ads. Tearing your opponent down from everything from hand size to the way their hair looks like the pubes of an elderly Yeti. It's a very effective tool for swaying voters and kind of takes everything away from the real issue so people don't have to think too hard. Take, for example, this classic 2010 ad by Carly Fiorina on her opponent, Tom Campbell.
Your current brilliant solution to California's budget mess? A wolf in sheep's clothing. A man who literally helped put the state of California on the path to bankruptcy and higher taxes.
Very salacious indeed. It is craven, to be sure, but I do think that two vicious old grumps could do even better. So, candidates, your challenge is to create an attack ad against your opponent, all right? We'll get your answers after the break. We'll be right back with more At Midnight Presidential Debate 2016. At Midnight Presidential Debate 2016. Before the break, I gave you a no-holds-barred challenge asking you to make political attack ads against one another. Let's see what you came up with. Mr. Trump, we'll start with you.
I'm Donald Trump. Bernie Sanders, this guy is only 3 years older than me, but he looks absolutely terrible. He looks like the Templar at the end of Last Crusade, and America needs to choose wisely. Bernie Sanders shouldn't be president. He's going to be eating alone in a Denny's for the rest of his life. Do we really want a president who seems like he's always has old soup on his lip? It's going to be like watching Death of a Salesman for the next 4 years. Kids, listen up. He's not your grandpa. He's going to slip and die in a bathtub, and then we'll be stuck with Vice President Whoopi Goldberg, and who wants that? I am the president that America deserves. I can tell you that.
All right.
Here we go.
Senator Sanders, let's see your ad.
Okay, look. All right, yeah, it's me, Bernie Sanders. The way to do an attack ad, I don't want to do. I'm running a clean campaign. I don't got time for that bullshit. So, in the interest of radical transparency, I am going to run an attack ad against myself. Bernie, you're a jerk. You're a real piece of doo. You stink, literally. You smell like old bananas, and nobody knows better than you. You look like Ray Bradbury. Where do you get off, you bum? Literally, where do you get off? You're asleep on the subway. I'm Bernie Sanders, and I approve this message, but I do not approve of Bernie Sanders. We're done.
Very interesting approach. Very negative.
I'm gonna give 1,000 points to Mr. Trump for not blinking during his entire ad. I'm gonna give 1,000 points to Senator Sanders for ruthlessly attacking himself for some reason. We now turn to the subject of war, specifically the hashtag war. Now, tonight, we're wondering what it would be like if Senator Sanders' finger was on the button, especially one that does something other than alert his flight attendant. What would Mr. Trump do as head of state besides nagging Angela Merkel? Well, gentlemen, Now's your opportunity to go head-to-head, mano a mano. Tell the voters what the world would look like. This is your final chance to get their approval. If you were sitting in the Oval Office with tonight's hashtag, if I were president, examples might be our national parks would become national golf courses, or the White House would get a chairlift. Either one, either way. We're going to go back and forth on this one. Let's start with you, Senator Sanders.
Okay. If I were president, Hail to the Chief would be played by the band Fish, and it would take 25 minutes every time I walk into a room.
All right, points. Mr. Trump.
If I were president, we would have the first lady daughter of the United States.
I'm disgusted, points. Senator Sanders.
If I were president, I would put the rich Wall Street bankers in the same prison that Magneto goes in, but they would not be let out for any sequels.
All right, points to Senator Sanders. Mr. Trump.
If I become president, I am going to hunt down Rosie O'Donnell like Osama bin Laden.
Points. Senator Sanders.
If I were president, I would institute a national Netflix account with one password so we are no longer burdening our seniors for the Netflix password.
Points to Senator Sanders. You're applauding that, but do you know what you'd end up watching if everyone were on the same account?
They don't even understand. They don't even understand. It would be Bones all day long.
That's the end of the hashtag wars. That means it's time for our closing statements for the win. Very important part of the show. Definitely Trump, absolutely Sanders came here to determine who, once and for all, would be the next president of the United States. We have a lustrous history on this show of people winning debates and then going on to take the White House. You both came onto this fake internet game show to show the American people that you do understand the internet. Both of you are representative of social media's ability to give everyone a voice, regardless of how orange or hunchback they might be. As such, your final challenge tonight, it only makes sense for you to show the internet that you know how to speak their language. I'm talking, of course, about emoji, the primary means of communication for both teen girls and people pretending to be teen girls in order to catch predators. Candidates, I would like you to deliver one last message to the American people tonight. We're gonna have our candidates' answers and name the leader of the free world when we come back on At Midnight Presidential Debate. Time for the Win. I'm going to wipe your scores clean, rendering all the gameplay up to this point entirely meaningless, begging the question, why did we go through this entire exercise if it was all going to come down to one question? Gentlemen, at this time, we will now accept your closing remarks. Senator Sanders, we'll start with you.
Look, I've got a message for the mainstream media, and that is, I'm running for president. You should put me on TV from time to time. Look, we just did it. It wasn't so bad. And when you do put me on TV, don't just have the audio cut out where you just see me pantomiming. And Chris Matthews is blabbering over me telling you what I'm saying. I'm a loud guy. Put it on TV. We don't need to hear what Chris Matthews is saying. We already know it. He's saying something we've already heard about Tip O'Neill. I'm a loud f***ing guy. Put it on TV. And I would also like to ask for money. If you got anything, any small change, anything under $1, I'll take it. If you got a gift card that's partially used, we can use it. If you have parts of a Bitcoin, we almost have one full Bitcoin. I will take bus tokens if they are for currently functioning bus systems. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Senator Sanders. Mr. Trump, your closing remarks.
First up, when I become president, within the first 100 days, I will be bored within 10. I can guarantee you that. I am going to get a cabinet that makes Dick Cheney and Paul Wolfowitz look like Marlo Thomas and Friends and Free to Be You and Me. We are going to get a terrible group of people to run this country. And I promise you this, I'm the beast. I am the beast at the end of the Bible, and I will destroy this planet. And I'll tell you this, we are going to get him out of here.
Oh.
Get him out of here.
Wait.
Get him out of here.
I want to make
tell you,
sure all
Bernie,
hecklers
add
are
your
taken
time.
care of with health care.
You had your time, Bernie. You had your time. Excuse me. My big promise, though, Craig, is I'll tell you this. We're going to get rid of the Kaiser. We're going to burn down the Reichstag. And I promise you, we will unify Germany and make it the diamond of Europe for the next 1,000 years. And I hope you'll pledge with me.
Oh, no.
As we do.
We don't.
Make a pledge with me now.
Don't do that.
We're going to make America and the world.
Nobody pledges.
Get him out of here. Get him out of here. Get him out of here.
Now I'll read your answers aloud, and you, the audience, will decide the winner. Again, I'm going to read these so you have no idea who wrote what. Before the break, I asked you to deliver a message to the American people using emoji.
Emojis, I like them.
No, it's emoji. It's Japanese in origin.
Look, I've sat down with the emoji community. I
no,
understand.
it's, you haven't.
Chinese.
They're not real.
I have
They're,
great empathy for the emoji people.
they're essentially pictograms. No. Each of you told me privately what these emoji mean, and I will interpret them for the audience. Let's see what you came up with. First set of emoji. Feel the burn, live the burn, speak the burn. All right. Could have been either one. No, sir. Could have been either one. Could have been either one.
Unbelievable.
Next up, completely anonymous. You better ship yourself to Canada because my tiny orange hands are coming to the White House, baby.
There they are. You're all gonna die. You're all gonna die.
What if that was mine? What if that was mine?
Number one was the winner, Senator Bernie Sanders. You have won the internet as dictated by the audience here today. I'm an ambassador. I am completely impartial. I benefit in no way. Mr. Trump walking in my camp was shot. You are the most powerful person for the next 29 hours. Thank you, Senator Sanders. We'll see you tomorrow night. Our guests will be Nicole Byer, Allison Rich, and Jessica McKenna. Until then, keep tweeting at midnight with your hashtag #IfIWerePresident to become tomorrow's tweet of the day. I'm Matt Hardwick on the tweets and the Instagrams. Thank you so much for joining us for our At Midnight presidential debate 2016 with definitely Trump and actually Bernie Sanders. Good night, and God help us all.